So hi everyone. So we are now going to start the next session, and in this particular session we will be talking about agriculture marketing. What are the issues and what are the challenges, and why we have reached to this stage where we are talking about how we can improve our agriculture sector, basically the marketing side of the agriculture sector. And it is an interesting topic, so that's why I thought that I should be devoting more time, and I should have a separate one separate lecture on this, and that's why lecture 11 and 12 will be dealing with agriculture marketing. So agriculture sector, as I told, it is the backbone of the economy. Though the share in employment has come down, it is now almost close to 42%, but and the contribution in terms of agriculture output is immense. We have reached from 15 million ton, or we had 55 million tons in 1950s, to we have reached around 298 million tons in terms of food grains. So we are completely self-reliant on the food items, though on some occasions, because of mismatch between demand and supply, we have to import from somewhere, but in rest of the cases we are self-sufficient. And we have seen the transformation of agriculture from being one of the most conventional sector to a relatively modern sector. So there is a lot of diversity across India. In Punjab, in Haryana, in UP, and in some parts of the some part of the western states like Maharashtra and Gujarat, these states have done well, especially in terms of cash crops. Then we also see a lot of diversity towards the south part of India, where we have Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and then we have a Kerala, and these states have also done well. And there is a whole lot of effort now to streamline certain rules and regulations that were not conducive for the development of the agriculture sector. So there is a whole lot of effort to bring new synergy, and there are also some concerns regarding the need for such drastic changes, because we have already we have already gone through policy changes at state level, and then we have also gone for certain changes even at the central level. So central level always advises the states to implement certain norms. So there is always a scope for gradual change, but now we have gone for a drastic change. So that's why we are seeing a lot of upheavals across the country, talking about agriculture marketing. So now this particular lecture, I hope it will be useful for those who want to know more about the agriculture sector. The references of this particular lecture is interesting. So it is OECD ICRIER 2018. So that we referred in the last session also. Then I found a very good write-up article by Mahendra Dev. He is currently the director of IGIDR. He has written recently on agriculture reforms in India. It has appeared in Indian policy, in Indian Public Policy Review. Then we have Gulati, Kapoor and Botton. It is also on reforming Indian agriculture. It has appeared in Economic Political Weekly. Then we have Sudha Narayan. She has also written it has appeared at the India Forum, 3 farm bills. Then we have Rawal, Patel and Pius. He has also written on this, the political economy of agriculture market reforms monograph. So, and it is located at Society for Social and Economic Research. Then, as we have referred in the last lecture also, 20 years of economic reforms in India, New Century Public. So these are the references. If any of you are interested in knowing more about the topic that I am going to discuss, then these are the immediate references. Wherever I have taken, or wherever I have borrowed some details from some papers, I have cited explicitly. So you can also click on those links and have some more idea about it. So the key learning objective is that how we can think about how we can have the comprehensive idea about the India's agriculture marketing, what are the rules and regulations, and the recent laws that we have enacted in the area of agriculture marketing, how we can see the pro and cons of this particular law, and to what extent we can analyze it in the contemporary context. So this is the underlying idea behind this particular lecture, and I hope it will be quite useful for everyone. Now here we have the agriculture marketing. So agriculture marketing since beginning, since independence, it has been. So when we were looking for, when we were thinking about expanding the agriculture sector, so at that time we were looking for capacity, and in capacity the distribution was one of the major challenges for the policy makers. So that's why at that time we had enacted certain laws so that there should not be any black hoarding, or there should be a smooth distribution of the food products whatever was available at that point of time. So but in late 70s 80s we started realizing that now we are having a sufficient food production, so we should go for expansion of this particular marketing structure, and then we had implemented certain laws. During post reform era we had almost neglected this particular sector because our focus was more on industries and all, but still we had implemented certain laws in the area of agriculture also at that point of time, and especially in the areas where we were not making that much effort, we were deficient. We improved the pulses productions, then we had the poultry, then we had the dairy farming. So all these sectors got attention at that point of time, and there is a lot of industrial scope for these sectors. So that's why government also had gone through that. But post 2000 we saw developments, particularly special attentions were paid on this agriculture sector, because there is a lot of scope of agriculture to eradicate poverty and rural development. So that's why. So if you look back in the constitution as per the article 264 7th schedule, so agriculture and its marketing fall in the state list. Interstate trade falls in union list. So you have three lists. One is called union list, which is the central government list. The central government has to take care. Then you have the state list, certain activities which fall under this state list, and a state has to take care and has to govern on those activities. Then the contracts fall in the concurrent list, which is the subject for both state and the union and the central government. So agriculture becomes a quite complex, agriculture marketing becomes quite a complex topic because of these three, and that's why whenever we have a central government trying or making effort to bring new changes in agriculture sector, it becomes really tough task for the central government to convince the state government that you have to implement certain changes, certain norms in agriculture sector, because the agriculture falls in a state subject. So a state may be requested and they will be suggested under certain norms with certain incentives to implement some measures. And so far since independence, it has been the case that there is in some states the central policies or central suggestions, whatever was suggested by the central government, it has been implemented, but in certain states this has not been the case, and that's why in some states we find that the rules which were suggested by the central government have not been implemented. So the harmonious rules to govern the agriculture market is a major issue. The recent amendments in farm laws are also related to this, and that's why it has become one of the hotly debated topics in the print media and the digital media. So in the beginning, when we were thinking about expanding the agriculture capacity, at that point of time we had enacted something called Essential Commodities Act 1955. What was this act? So this act was designed to make sure that some commodities, especially food grains and other items, were available, and there should not be any kind of black marketing and hoarding of these items. And that's why some items were, a list was prepared, and in that even food items were included, so that there should not be any higher variation in prices, and even the lowest income strata people can have the access to food. And then we had also gone for enactment of, in 1960s we had gone for enactment of agriculture produce market committees, because when farmers are going to produce certain items, and we have already discussed that we had established in 1963 and even 65 we had two commissions. We had a Food Corporation of India, and then we had the CACP, so committee on agriculture price. So on these two agencies helped in terms of procuring the food items from the farmers, and that's why APMCs became important. In the beginning, since it was we had a limited food production, so at that point of time we thought that we should be having everything under the government control, because it was as well the planning. So every year whenever we have gone for some kind of enactment of credit or banking credit expansion, we have two types of credit in India. One is called food credit, another is called non-food credit. So Government of India gives money to the Food Corporation of India to buy food products, the farm products from the farmers, and farmers will be paid to that. So that's why the money that goes to the Food Corporation of India, it is called food credit, and the money which is invested in non-agri activities, it is called non-food credit. So APMCs provided access to food grains to FCIs, and farmers are expected to come to this market. They will have to register, and then they will be also subject to certain fees. And then there is a regulation that once we have a minimum support price decided, then farmer will be selling only at that price, and it is up to the farmer also to go to the market anywhere. But if he or she is accessing to the APMCs, then he will be allowed to sell only to the APMC market. So APMC markets are highly regulated, and some states it has different names, but APMCs are the primary markets where farmers reach and sell their produce to the traders or committees which are buying. So that was called primary agriculture commodity. So I will be highlighting the Essential Commodities Act. So it was Essential Commodities Act 1955. It was implemented to control on the production, supply, distribution, and the pricing of essential commodities. So this was the idea, and then it was also decided that it was just to make sure that there should be smooth supply of food grains, and there should not be any shortage. So ECA was implemented, and since agriculture is the state subject, so therefore states are more empowered to take decisions on food items except sugar, because government has a special arrangement for the distribution of sugar. So sugar is quite subsidized, and central government pays money to the sugar suppliers. And as per the C. Rangarajan committee in 2013, there was a certain changes made, but still buy and sell of sugar from the union government is a different exercise. Commodities covered under ECA are revised time to time. So right now ECA has been reduced from 70 in 1969 to just 7 in 2006. Now we have 9 items, and recently because of the coronavirus pandemic, we have also added face mask and the sanitizers in the ECA list. So Essential Commodities Act. Otherwise it's a petroleum, seed, different types of seeds, and then we have food grains, then we have a jute item. So all these items are part of this ECA list, and ECA list is basically it was good to have a control on the distribution or supply of these items. Otherwise there will be always a case of manipulation. So ECA was enacted just to make sure that there is no manipulation. Then we had a Agriculture Produce Market Committee. As I told, it has a very big role in deciding the price discovery of a particular farming product or a particular food grain. So APMCs were designed to create necessary infrastructure for auctions and storage, because for selling agriculture produce you need certain infrastructure, you need stocking items, you need a place to stock items, then you need a place to locate and the weighing area, then there are meetings. So all these infrastructures were supported. So and then APMCs were designed to create necessary infrastructure. As I told, that whatever the money that they receive from the farmers, they reinvest in creating the necessary infrastructure in terms of different mandis that we have. And many APMCs, especially in case of Punjab, it has been a great success, because there the culture of mandis has evolved in a very mature manner, and that's why we see a very well developed market in case of Punjab. And most of the farming communities they enjoy a good amount of service from the APMCs. Whereas in some other states, in terms of progress, it has been mixed, but especially the Punjab case has been has been highly quoted by agriculture economists. APMCs were designed to function as a democratic decentralized, so there will be market committee, and the farmers who are not going to sell their produce to APMC, they will lose the voting right, so they will not be participate in the marketing committee election. So that's why it becomes one of the incentive for the farmers to go there and sell the produce. And then there will be traders licensed by the government, and then they will be also subject to certain taxations. But over the years, the manipulations have taken place, especially in terms of selection of the members in market committee, deciding about the price discovery process. So the whole lot of information about the information asymmetry has taken place, and that's why these particular APMCs have been blamed for a lot of inefficiencies that we always have found. State governments also interfere as they get revenue and have nominees in the board of mandi. So, for instance, it was reported that the Punjab government gets around more than 3,500 crore rupees from the tax and octroi that it imposes on the on different mandis. So it is a big source of income, and that money they invest to have or to develop the infrastructure leading to from village to mandi, or different linking roads, or different types of infrastructure for storage and distribution. So there is a whole lot of ecosystem working in this particular mandi system. And in case of Punjab, it has been also reported that there were around more than 1,600 people employed under formal and informal category of employment, and there is also a case that whosoever goes there, they are also some kind of relationship exists between the trader, licensed trader, and the farmer, and there is some kind of borrowing and lending happening between these two. The APMCs become an inefficient market. So then you have a trader union playing a role. Then you have the middlemen also playing a role. Then the state nominees also sometimes destroy the true purpose of APMCs, the mandis. As a result, APMCs became an inefficient market, facilitating institutions dominated by the traders and the middlemen. APMC Act was redesigned in 2003, and there was a separate chapter on the contract farming. And contract farming is a new development in case of India, though it has been implemented long ago in some states, especially in the western part of the country. But Punjab and Haryana has a separate provisions for this, and that's why these two states do not see that much progress. But in case of Maharashtra, it has been a great success. If you look at the infrastructure support, then you find that then we had established at that time two important institutions. So FCI was established in 1965. We also had one more institution called National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation, NAFED. So NAFED has been given now, this is the nodal agency to facilitate the agriculture marketing. It has the offices in 4 metros, and then you have the state level agencies also dealing with. In the modern era, the NAFED role has increased, but a special task has been given to Operation Greens, and under that the potato, onions, and tomato, that we have POTS scheme to improve the production or to enhance the production of these vegetables, green vegetables. There is a special focus from the government, so NAFED is playing a role in that. If you understand the marketing structure of agriculture, so it works in this way. So here you have the farmer is going to the selling to producer on contract if there is already a contract, and otherwise the normal route is that it will go to primary wholesaler, which is the market, and then in between here you have the if there is kind of pre-harvest contract, or if there is a middleman helping this particular farmer, aggregators and all, and then you have the secondary wholesaler, and ultimately it goes to the retailers and all. So this is what is the primary wholesaler is the most important part, and then here you have different cooperatives working in case of primary wholesaler. In secondary wholesaler, you have the aggregators, food processors and all coming into picture, and then it goes to food retailer. So this is the chain that you have. So if the farmer is having already a contract some kind of contract farming, then of course it can sell to the contract holder, and otherwise this becomes the normal chain for this market. I have taken it from the OECD career because I found this quite useful, so you can think about, and just to make things simpler I have just put it here. I have also summarized the major developments that we had experienced at that time. So, as I told that here you have the primary wholesaler. So, in this primary wholesaler, whosoever goes, they are supposed to buy and sell at the minimum support price decided by the government. They cannot buy below, because buying below it becomes a illegal act. So, and in certain cases, if they are found to violate this rule, then there will be a certain imposition and their licenses will also be revoked. But after this they are free to do whatever they wish, but this primary wholesaler market becomes really important. So, here you have the role of minimum support price playing a role. Then here we had a post 2000 development. So, what all acts we have enacted. So, this particular so expert committee, in a nutshell I would say that all these schemes till 2007, it talks about a harmonious relationship between center and states. The center had certain obligations to enhance the agriculture productivity, and that is why center had gone for implementing such measures and taking such measures. So, for example, report on interministerial task force on agriculture marketing reforms. In this particular task, the task was that how the contract farming can be promoted, what kind of marketing reforms can be done so that farmers should get a fair price. So, it was all about the fair price discovery and about the contract farming. And then in 2007 we had 2006 we had a major cases of farmer suicide. So, at that time government had implemented or suggested a policy measures to just to make sure that the rate of suicide should come down, and that is why at that point of time the committee had recommended certain measures on each and every aspect, right from the money availability to the irrigation to the assistance, technological assistance given to farmer. So, this National Commission on Farmers became one of the talk of the time, and it was decided, it was also highlighted in the budget of 2007. Then model APMC rules were published, and under this it was decided that there should be some norms to be implemented, and some private market can be established apart from APMCs. And in some states, especially in Maharashtra in 2005 and 6, Maharashtra had gone for implementation of certain measures, and that is why some aggregators were allowed to buy from outside the APMC market also. Then report of committees of ministers in charge of agriculture marketing and promoting reform. So, in this also this was the task to harmonize the relation between center and states. Then we had ENAM. ENAM was launched in 2015, and this particular platforms gives us the idea that how the central government had gone for had convinced the states to have the uniform rate and single rate to sell the produce in the state and not beyond that. And then there is a particular website where there is a e-portal, and on the e-portal certain goods prices or the food grain prices will be reported, and there will be dissemination or information. So, the price discovery process should be quite smooth. So, one India one price concept starts with ENAM, the e-portal launch. Then the task force of 2016, the most important reform that the government of India took was in 2017, when we had gone for doubling farmers income committee report, model APLM Act. Under this a whole lot of effort has been made right from the storage creation to the technological enhancement, crop intensity, and then there is also a norm to synchronize the market into one platform, so that farmers should not have to pay more money, or they don't have to incur a higher cost in terms of paying taxes, even in terms of transfer goods. So this committee headed by the additional secretary of agriculture, his name starts with Ashok, and then he has helped a lot in terms of deciding about this doubling farmers income committee. In 2018 also, the Model Contract Farming Act was passed in 2018, and this act also became important, and it was for the first time government had gone for enhancing such type of act scope in terms of participation. So there was a particular emphasis given on not just having the contract between farmers and this. There is a whole lot of effort to synthesize the role of farmer, because it when it was enacted, it was assumed that the farmer is a weak as compared to the aggregator or the trader. So there are certain safety norms introduced for the farmer, so that in case of dispute, farmer should not be targeted. Then high powered committee of chief ministers headed by former chief minister Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, he had recommended certain measures to improve the livelihood of the farmer in terms of productivity, in terms of output, and also giving promotion or giving or encourage the contract farming. In 2020, we passed three bills, historic bills it is called, on agriculture marketing reforms, and this has been a topic of debate among the policymakers. Even the farmers are not happy with this, because this has been a quite dramatic change in the historic setup, and it is expected that this particular bill may have a whole lot of effort to bring change in the. So this is like, it is called like in case of industrial sector, it is called like 1991 moment, when we had gone for a certain ruthless measure to revive the economy, and it is expected that these three measures will also help. But there are some concerns which government has not been able to address so far, and it has not been conveyed to the stakeholders, and that's why there is a whole lot of controversy arising out of this. We'll discuss this in the next session. Thank you so much.